What's up, Groms? Today we're going to be learning how to make skateboarding wheel graphics in Adobe Illustrator. So opening up Illustrator, I'm going to create a new file. I'm just going to name it wheels. My width and height are going to be 1500 by 1500 pixels. Let's turn this to CMYK, just because we may want to send this to printers who would actually be printing this on wheels. Okay, now that we have our artboard set up, we're just going to take away this white fill. Just click none, so we only have a black stroke. And using the ellipse tool, we are going to click and drag and just hold shift to create a perfect circle. Just create a rough, rough size that you want to build your wheel. This will be the outside of the wheel. I'm going to crank up the stroke weight to about 30. Just give it a bold outline so we know what we're working with. And now let's create the inside of the wheel, where the actual bearing will be. So Command C to copy, and then Command Shift V to copy that circle, and just holding the Option key and Shift, just slowly bring that circle in like this until you have about the size of what the bearing would be. I'm going to pick here, and let's go to our fill, and let's just pick this blue fill for now. And let's actually take away the stroke. I don't want it right now. And now we're going to create another circle that's actually the inside of the bearing. So let's Command C again and Command Shift V to copy that circle. And let's just go in until it's about the width of a bearing. I'm literally looking at a skateboarding wheel right now for reference, so you should probably do the same. And let's change that fill to white and give it a black stroke. And crank that stroke up a bit. I think 40 looks good. Alright, that looks nice. And now let's create just kind of a metallic ring around this. So let's just, we can just pick one of these grays. I think that's fine. We don't have to actually pick a metallic gradient. Yeah, that looks nice, and let's create just a black outline over that in order to just give it a, just make it look a little bit better. Okay, and we have to scale it up just a little bit so it goes outside of that ring. Yeah, that's about what we're looking for. Now that I'm looking at it, I think this internal ring needs to come down a little bit. So again, just holding Option and Shift, I'm just going to click and drag a little bit. And I like that a bit more. I think that looks more like a wheel and a bearing. Okay, and now I'm just going to create just the little bit of divot that the wheel has. So it's a black stroke right now. Let's create a black fill. Let's change it to a really light gray like this. And just send it to the back with Command, Shift, and left bracket. That looks a little thin, so again, holding Option and Shift, I'm just going to click and drag it up a little bit more. Nice, I think that looks more like a wheel. I'm just going to give it a little bit of more just depth. I'm going to add a little bit of a shadow to it. So I'm going to highlight the outside wheel circle, and again, Command C to copy it, and then Command Shift V to paste. And let's turn that stroke to just kind of a darker gray like that instead of a full black. Then holding Option and Shift, scale it down a little bit, and then Command Shift left bracket to send it to the back. I think that's a little bit too dark, so let's change it to the same gray as this divot shadow here. And I'm going to just pull it in, just make it a little bit off center. And maybe I'll even play with the width profile here and just give it just a little bit of funk, just to make it look more like a beveled circular object. And yeah, that looks pretty nice for just our wheel. So I'm going to lock this layer, and I'm just going to name it wheel, and then I'm going to create a new layer on top of it, and I'm going to name it art. Okay, now we want to create just where our artwork's actually going to sit. So again, I'm going to just create a circle. It can be anywhere. I'm just going to turn this pink just so we can see it. And then yeah, use the align panel to just align the horizontal and vertical centers. Make sure you're aligned to artboard, so that works. Okay, and now I want to get this about centered in the white circle that we're working within. I think that looks pretty good. Let's just bump the weight up really far. Okay, yeah, kind of see like we want even white space between these two. So I'm just going to keep holding Option and Shift and bumping it up. And I don't want to go all the way to the edges like this and just like completely cover it. We want a little bit of white space because that's how a wheel graphic is actually going to print. If you look at your skateboard wheels, you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. It doesn't really print edge to edge because there's some curve in the wheel. So it kind of prints like this. So yeah, this looks like what I want. It's about 200 pixel weight for the stroke. And now we want to expand this stroke so we can work within it. So go to Object and go to Expand. And yeah, expand the fill in the stroke. And you'll see that it's turned into a fill rather than just a 200 point stroke on it. And yeah, that's kind of what we want. This is the base of what we want our graphic to be. And you can play with the actual swatch libraries within Illustrator. A fun one I always like to play with, I go to Patterns in the Swatch library, and I go to Animal Skins. And yeah, you can. There's always like some fun ones in here. The zebra stripes are a little thin, so I want to scale them up. So just hit S, and you'll go to the scale tool and just double click it. Oh wow. And yeah, so this doesn't happen. What you want to do is you want to unclick Transform Objects. So it's only transforming the pattern. So yeah, it's already at 300, which is way big. Yeah, you can kind of play with it just like that. And yeah, just kind of cycle through them and see if there's anything you like in Animal Skins. Again, there's like a bunch of different like swatch libraries that you can play with. But another thing you may want to do, even though that's really cool, I'm going to just turn it back to the magenta. If you just have artwork that you've made previously, so I'm just going to place some artwork that I've made before. Well, I've copied before, so it's actually a pretty old skate graphic. Mark Gonzalez's first pro model for Vision skateboards. So I'm just going to put it behind just so I want, let's turn this to a stroke. So I'm going to bump up the weight just so we can kind of see the area that we're working within. So yeah, you can just kind of pull the graphic just around to where you want. And I think that looks pretty good. And then I'm going to highlight both the pink layer and make sure that the artwork layer is behind that pink layer. And then hit Command 7. And that's going to create a clipping mask. If you can't find that, you can always go to yeah, if you just like have this let me separate it again. So yeah, with both the artwork and the wheel part selected, just go to Object and you can go to Clipping Mask and Make. But yeah, it's Command 7. And yeah, from there you can it's all a group now, so you can double click in and then you can edit the image from within just like that, just in case you want to make some like modifications at the end. I'm going to keep it here. I think that looks pretty cool. And yeah, you can kind of just keep playing around. You can add all types of different patterns and stuff to this artwork and make it your own. There's a bunch of like fun libraries and stuff again that you can do, just kind of basic like halftones like this or whatever. And yeah, always going in with like the scale tool and making it bigger if you want. You can kind of create your own little style. And yeah, that's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed. Make some cool graphics. Wheel graphics kind of don't get designed as much, so it's a really fun thing to just play around with and make something rad. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. Bye.